Hey y'all, it's Kratom Lady here. So what's all the hype about Kratom? Today I'll give you a little background about Kratom, its history, uses, effects of this Indonesia plant that's causing so much controversy in the United States. So Kratom is a tropical tree. It's native to Southeast Asia with its leaves that contain compounds that have very powerful healing effects. Kratom has been used safely in Southeast Asia for centuries. Farmers would use it when they worked in the fields. They would chew on the leaves, and it helped with increased energy, help with mood elevation, and assist with minor pain. So kratom was introduced in the United States following the Vietnam War when the soldiers used it during their service in Vietnam. And with the Southeast Asia immigration and returning soldiers, kratom was used for energy and mood boost, similar to having a cup of coffee. So the natural kratom plant is consumed by chewing on the leaves, and you can make it into tea from the leaves itself or from the powder, or kratom can be turned into capsules, resins, extracts, or tinctures. In the mid-1990s, the popularity of kratom was discovered by many head and smoke shops, some of whom really wanted to unethically increase their sales of kratom, so they would frequently and illegally mix it with various drugs like heroin, morphine, fentanyl, while creating the preconception to the customers that they were buying the pure kratom rather than a highly adulterated substance laced with highly addictive and potentially deadly substances. So in 2009, this caught on to around the world, and there's a cluster of 9 deaths that were reported in Sweden from over a 12-month period of time of some people consuming kratom, sold on the internet as krypton. While this naturally elevated the concern of the DEA and the FDA into potential safety issues associated with the use of kratom, and it triggered an import alert that was placed on kratom by the FDA in 2012. And there was research published in 2011 that documented that the 9 deaths in Sweden were actually caused by an intentional adulteration of the kratom powder in the krypton. It had a toxic dose of desmethyltramadol, which is an opioid used to relieve pain and is the main active ingredient in tramadol. So as you can see, this brought so much confusion about kratom, and the FDA has and continues to repeatedly reference these 9 Swedish deaths in the proposed regulatory actions to ban the natural plant of kratom. So there was safety alerts on the kratom to the state and local health and law enforcement officials by the FDA and the DEA, and 6 states acted to ban kratom sales from 2012 to 2016, but none of these alerts referenced the important distinction between the natural kratom plant and the dangerous adulterated kratom products that is being marketed by unscrupulous vendors. So on 2016, the DEA, acting on the request of the FDA, published a notice of intent to place the 2 active alkaloids in kratom, which are mitragynine and 7-hydromitragynine, as banned as a Schedule 1 substance, citing that the 33 deaths around the world were allegedly associated with the use of kratom. Well, the kratom users were not happy with the ban, and they made their voices heard and marched to officials in Washington, D.C. And on October 16th, the DEA withdrew the scheduling notice and invited public comments, and they directed FDA to provide an explicit 8-factor analysis at that meeting as well. So there was over 23,000 comments submitted, with 99.1% opposing the ban. The FDA failed to submit the expedited 8F report by their deadline, so the American Kratom Association commissioned an independent 8F study to be conducted by Jack Hemmingfield, PhD. He's an expert in addiction and safety of substances. The report documented the failure of the FDA to meet the required standards under the Controlled Substances Act and for the scheduling of kratom. So today, the FDA keeps wanting to renew its request for scheduling of the two main alkaloids in kratom, and it keeps on with announcing a public health advisory on claiming an increase in kratom-associated deaths to these 36 people, and also claiming kratom has similar effects and dangers as the classic opioids. Again, the FDA failed to make distinction between the natural kratom product and the dangerous adulteration of kratom. So leading scientists have contested the FDA. They've used computer modeling to draw up conclusions on the opioid effects of the metragynine and the 7-hydrometragynine, and condemned the FDA's claims that the deaths associated with the kratom products that were rather from poly drug use and also underlying medical conditions or the use of adulterated kratom. So on October 18th, a study on the safety of kratom was published that showed that metragynine is not dangerously addictive, and the 7-hydrometragynine occurs at such a low level that there's no significant activity that would justify a scheduling of this decision. So, and also in another study conducted in 2018 by the National Institute of Drug Abuse, NIDA, had their own conclusion in their research that, and their results suggest that there is limited liability of the metragynine, and they also stated that, quote, unquote, most kratom-associated deaths appear to be resulted from adulterated products, other drugs mixed in with the kratom, or taking kratom along with other potent substances as illicit drugs, opioids, benzos, alcohol, gabapentin, and over-the-counter medications such as cough syrup. There has been some reports of kratom packaged as dietary supplements or dietary ingredients that were laced with other compounds that cause a death, unquote. So you can see that these studies directly refuted the FDA's claim that the kratom is dangerously addictive, and that the same opioid-like effects and deaths resulted from the use of adulterated kratom products. So you're probably wondering, like, oh, is kratom safe? I believe so. When it's in its pure form, non-adulterated. There's millions of kratom users in the U.S. have found the pure kratom to be an effective minor pain management option as an alternative to the dangerous, addictive, or potentially deadly opioids. And others have found that kratom as a natural alternative to support their health issues like any other health or dietary supplement. So today, the FDA is failing to make that distinction between natural kratom products and the dangerous adulteration kratom. So in order to show this legitimate uses by the consumer to use a safe, pure kratom, the American Kratom Association enacted the Kratom Consumer Protection Act. And so this enacts legislation that protects consumers from adulterated kratom products, and it requires labeling that allows consumers to know exactly what is in the kratom product and they're manufactured by a GMP certified facility. So I just want you guys to stay tuned because we're launching our kratom product that will follow the guidelines of the Kratom Consumer Protection Act. Our products are safe and they provide a pure kratom plant material. They're lab tested to ensure that they're free of adulterants and any biological, chemical, mineral, or contaminants. And our kratom products are manufactured in GMP facilities, so you can be rest assured that you're taking a safe product. So click on the link below for send your email for any updates, and we'll let you know when we're going to launch this unique kratom product. I just wanted to thank you for listening. Stay well and be blessed.